Hey guys, welcome back to Language Come Up, a channel where I come up and you do too. So, as was last week, I had a topic to talk about today, but due to whatever's happening to me in the moments, I feel it's always better just to get that out while I still have that emotion. So, today I want to talk about giving ourselves credits for our progress in language learning, giving ourselves permission to be happy with what we achieved. All right, so today I had class with a guy who I admire as a polyglot and a content creator. His name is Artyom, and he has a channel dedicated to language learning, dedicated for to him and his languages, but also a channel that is fairly popular in the Russian language community called Russian Progress, where he makes contents for people just like me who are learning Russian. And during the class, he told me that I spoke Russian well, and that out of all his students, well, I speak better than most of them. And for me, you know, it took me aback a little bit because I wasn't expecting such a compliment, and also because I'm very realistic about where I stand in my Russian progress, right? And I know how far I've come, but I know how far I need to go. And so, although I'm able to communicate, sometimes better than other times, sometimes you'll see me just stumbling for words or messing up cases or needing help with vocabulary. But then sometimes you'll see me communicating quite naturally. And so there is this dichotomy of progress made versus progress need to make, right? That one needs to make. And I kind of always, from time to time, I do get proud of the progress that I made, but I don't allow myself to kind of live in the moment sometimes, although sometimes I do. For example, today he told me that, which was super nice. And then I was talking with one of my students, a good friend of mine, and I told him about the situation, and I told him what Artyom told me, but then I basically just told him what I just said, that, oh, I have so far to go, I've got these gaps, and it's not being down on myself, it's just being realistic, because if language learning does one thing, it is constantly humbling you. And I've had this experience with Spanish. One day it's like, wow, look how awesome I am at Spanish. The next day you're just falling flats, falling on your face. And it's like, what is happening? So, already going into Russian, I I knew to expect this, right? And while I'm judging myself with some kind of speaker who has reached a high level, I think it's fair to keep in mind all of the Russian students who are now studying Russian, who have tried to study Russian, who maybe have been at it 7 years or however long it may be, and they haven't achieved the type of results that I've gotten in a little over a year and a half, you know? And that's something worth being proud of, right? As as far as I have to go, you know, which is a lot, you know, I have a lot to be proud of in this process. You know, he told me that I spoke well, that I understood well, and that within a year I'm going to be speaking like really nice. And at the level that I do study, well, at the rate that I do study Russian at, and with how much enthusiasm I do it, it's really a possibility that that could be true. And within a year, it's just really exciting to think where I can be at. But sometimes it's also nice to have these moments of encouragement, because you know you better than you, and you know exactly how you are in terms of your language, for the better, for the worse. But it is nice to get it reflected back to you once in a while, because I, as an English teacher, have heard thousands of people speak to me in English who are foreigners. So I know exactly where every person fits in the whole scheme of things of English speakers, right? And the same thing with Artyom, um, of those that have studied Russian. And so, yeah, I just want to say that it's okay to give ourselves credit for the accomplishments that we make. Um, Language learning, you know, is a long process, and even with going to the gym and lifting to try to build your body up, that is something of a long process as well. It's kind of a long process, but in much shorter time, you'll be able to see results, you know, right before your eyes. But with language learning, it's just kind of like ethereal, you know, it's just like floating out there in the air, and it's hard to know when you're making progress. So, this is just a video to remind us all, myself included, that it's okay to acknowledge what we've done, right? Okay, being cocky is not all that cool, and I'm not the most humble of guys in all cases, but like I said, language learning really humbles you, and it's okay to give ourselves permission to feel okay about what we do. So that's all I wanted to say about that. Um, I want to congratulate my friend John Seabolt, who today reached 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, which this is really awesome. And I want to talk about him for just a brief moment. So I discovered Seabolt like really early in the year when he had maybe 500, no more than 600 subscribers. And I kind of was intrigued by his channel because it was this guy who was jumping from language to language. He wasn't really sticking with anything, and I would periodically check to see what he was up to, and you know, shortly after that, he started an interview series, which you know, it was like his podcast series, right? It's kind of like him interviewing in a long format, and he was interviewing, you know, his guests or whatever, and this kind of really solidified me as being a fan to his channel. But what I really want to say is like right around this time, he really decided to stick with Japanese, right? And it's he's about to come up on 6 months, about to finish 6 months, and he's, you know, been looking. Well, he was looking basically just to find his way, you know. And I was thinking, I wish he would just pick one language and stick with it. And he's really done that, and he's done it for 6 months. And I want to congratulate him for that because it's really been a fantastic thing. Because, you know, you can literally watch his process. It's like a process of a guy not knowing what to do language wise, finding his way, and following through with it, you know. So 6 months is what I consider a milestone in language learning, right? And today he got 2,000 subscribers, and I'm really happy for him in his language learning and in his channel. It is just a reflection of the good that you put out in the world comes back. You know, for me, I liked watching his channel just because he was a good guy, and I knew like he could be a friend of mine if I knew him in real life. But once I actually got to talk with him, speak with him, person to person, he even seemed nicer. You know, I always say that Seabolt seems nicer. But I just wanted to give him a shout out because myself as a subscriber of Seabolt, I love to see this transformation he's had, not just in his channel success, but as a language learner. Because 6 months of studying Japanese like he studied, it has now solidified him. There is no doubt anymore. my friend Seabolt is now he's on the right path. He's been on it, and after a time of after 6 months passing and doing what you're doing for 6 months, that habit is there, and there's no way, you know, that you're going to be stopped. So I just want to give a shout out to him. So congrats, my friend. All right, so that's all I had for this week. If you like, just give it a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.